Yeah, good evening, everyone. So, last session we learnt about how to use reducer. What is the purpose of use reducer? Hmm, The purpose of use reducer is to manage global application state. No? Local state is use state, parent-child hierarchies, context, and global application state is reducer. And what is the purpose of global application state? You can store data which is accessible to whom? Any component. Any component can access the data throughout the application from any session. Application have application state and session state. When a user connects and disconnects until that his session is maintained. Across sessions also, if you want to provide data, then it is by using global application state. What are the drawbacks of that global application state for developers issues? There is no drawback of application state, but what is issue in handling application state is it's not easy to debug test. They are not easy to track. Developers cannot know the exact issues in the state where what data is stored, how it is managed. To have a good clarity on what is being stored, how it is being updated, when it is being updated, debugging, testing, and all. What is the best one we discussed? Redux. You written some in about Redux, na? Right? What is the purpose of Redux? We have to see today how to implement it. Redux also have same components. So what are those? It will have a store, it will have a reduce, and it will have an state. So what we want in our project is I updated the project you have seen. I updated the project with filtering and all. Have you checked? So actually I asked you to try. So you can check. I modified that. I added just a filter. I will later update with all Redux and all also once we learn about that. In our previous example, this is our app. Na? Yeah. In this already I updated with filtering. You update with sorting and other option also. npm run API. So here user can log in. So this is David at the net 123. When user logs in, what is the password? David at the net 123. When opens, you see two tasks are there, and you know the parent child hierarchies. What we do here when we pass the data, suppose I am searching for project, it will get only project. If I am searching for birthday, it will get only birthday. This already I implemented and posted in that example. Check once. Already I posted this into the GitHub, updated there. Actually, I asked you to try. I implemented only that. You tried date also. Date means it will show a calendar. When we select that date related appointment should come. You apply that also. In this example, actually what we done, I used a here simply where is that in dashboard na? In dashboard we are using context. There we are sending search string. We in details what we are doing, we are collecting the search string outlet context. Through outlet context, we are collecting the search string. Here I am collecting only one. You can get date, search by date, sort options, everything you can collect as object. And what we are doing, if search string is empty, load all appointments. If search string is not empty, get the appointments whose title includes our search string and store them under another memo. What is it? Filtered appointments. These filtered appointments will be displayed here. We will filter those appointments. And why we are using use memo for that? Because they need to be cached while we are filtering, right? So you need to try all other logics into that. Now what we will do is when we are watching the appointments, suppose any appointment is completed, then what we will do here in the detail, here we will put a button class btn and btn suppose arc this is dark bi archive. Okay, I will just give this archive button. This is not delete button. This is temporarily deleting from here, but still keep in the memory. They can review from the memory and they can delete if they want permanently, just like a trash, right? So this archive we want to implement. So what we need to have in this is when I click, it should show. Actually, we can add a button also. Where is this button? So here in the dashboard at the top. So in the nav bar, we have button. Yeah. Here in the button, I will add one more button. So here class btn outline dark and the bi archive fill. What this button have to do? It is mx2. Okay. So archives, just roughly. When I click this, it should get the list of all the trashed. So that from there again, if we want, we can delete. Understood? So this will delete permanently. This will not delete permanently. It will remove from the main dashboard and it will keep in the archives. And it should be accessible from anywhere. From any component, I can see how many archives I am having. So it should be stored in a global application state. So if you already attended the class of use reducer, you know how reducer works. The same concept, the Redux also works. If you are not in reducer class, take it easy. You can't understand. Understood? Huh? If you haven't attended reducer class today, just watch what is happening. Don't take it seriously. Huh? It's because you will have a complaint that I can't understand. You can never understand. Right? If you never attended the class of reducer, you can never understand Redux. Take it easy. Today, just listen and go away. Okay, why? Because this is for the people who attended the class of reducer. Why? Because again, we can't explain all the reducer thing here. How reducer works, what is its architecture, what components it is having, what is reducer, what is dispatch, all these things we learn. Same thing we are implementing here at a large scale with more tools we are using them. How? Let's see. So what we are going to do? So we are going to implement Redux here. So Redux toolkit. So toolkit configuration, how we configure the Redux toolkit we'll see. So what is Redux toolkit? How to configure Redux toolkit? I told you recently they made some changes. Huh? So earlier we used to use some methods. Now they added some new methods. You need to keep updated. So first, what you have to do is this is Redux.js, and here you need to first install all the Redux.js for your components. This is for, yeah. So first point, install Redux.js and enable for React. So here we need to, no need of this. We need to just npm install, and one more we need to add React Redux. So we need to install Redux.js toolkit and React Redux. You have to first install that. Now, at high level in projects, what we do when we learned reducer, what we done? When we learned reducer, we created initial state. Na? So where is it? Reducer demo. We created initial state. This is the data we are going to store. That means we are maintaining initial state. We are creating a reducer, and reducer tells what actions to perform. What action to perform, what data need to be updated, everything is present inside the reducer. So now at high level, this is created and it is kept in a separate file, and we call that as slicers. So slicer is responsible for handling some data and actions. What data you want to use globally, and when you want the data to be updated, how it should be updated, that is all defined in a slicer. So slicer contains these two things. What it contains? Slicer contains initial state, another one reducer. So what we have to do, first step here is after installing, add a new slicer to project. So generally in src folder, slicers folder, some slicer.jsx. Roughly I'm adding some slicer. What is its purpose is slicer configures initial state. Slicer configures initial state. So which defines the data to handle. Which defines the data to handle in application memory. The data to handle in application memory. It also configures. It also configures reducer. It also configures reducer. So it also configures reducer, which defines the actions to perform and the state to update data and state to update data. So initial state and reducer. So toolkit provides a method called create slicer. Create slice. It provides a method called create slice. So for configuring slicer, right? So syntactically, what we have to do is, so I will just give constant slicer name is equal to create slice. This create slice contains some options. It contains name. This is slicer name. It contains initial state and it contains reducer. Reducer comprises of action. It can contain action 1. It contains both state and action. And action can get the payload. Payload is the data carried. Similarly, you can have another action, any number of actions. In reducer, I showed you like, dislike actions. And action and action dot payload. Payload is the data coming from your UI. From UI, data will come and it will be stored in the state. Action identifies what is the action. We used a switch now. Here, reducer contains multiple actions. Which action is triggered, it can identify and it can perform that functionality. Earlier, we have done that using a switch case. On switch, on this action, do this, and another action, do that. Here it is going to manage everything like this. Okay. So now here, once we define what to do, now here, this slicer have action and reducer, which we have to use in another file because we kept in a separate file now. So then you have to export them. It's very important. What we have to do, export constant. You have to export the action 1 and action 2. Whatever actions, action 2 is equal to. So reducer, this is slicer name dot what actions. Not only that, export default and slicer name dot reducer. You have to export the reducer. If you export the reducer, then all actions are exported. In that, which action you want, you can import only specific if you want. You don't want to export both, then you can export any specific. So then only you can access and use them in another location. Otherwise, they are accessible only in this file. We cannot access outside. Of course, you can write here also export if you want. While configuring, you can define, or after configuring, you can. But I don't want to export all the actions. If I want any specific, I can configure it. This is the best one. So this is the way how we create the slicers. So slicer contains initial state. Now the question, where is this initial state? Actually, what you have to do in the same file in slicer.jsx, you have to define initial state which specifies the data. That means let initial state is equal to what data you want to manage. You have to mention the data. You have to define initial state actions. All these we have to do. What is initial state contains? What data you want to manage, that you have to define. So this is the first point. First, you install the library toolkit. Toolkit provides a slicer method. By using that, you create the state, what data to store, when it need to update, how it need to update. Everything is defined inside the slicer. Next, one more thing we have to do. After that, we have to create a store. Create a store. So in your src folder, you can create store folder. In that, store.jsx. So it is global storage. It is global storage. It stores your data in application memory. It stores your data in application memory and provides to all sessions in application. And provides to all sessions in application. Mhm. So store gets data from reducer. It gets the data from reducer. Store will get the data from reducer. Reducer contains the data which will be updated and kept in a store. And what is the point is, you can create store by using the method create store, by using the toolkit method create store. Now, very recently it is replaced, now it is new. So you should remember one point, configure store. So it is used in previous versions. It is used in previous versions. So it is now deprecated. Create store. So it is recommended for latest versions. Create store and configure store. So syntactically, We have export, default, create, store. And actually this create store, so it configures the reducer. And it uses the slicer name. Uses the slicer name. It is going to use the slicer name. And previously it was not create store, it is configure store. It is configure store. Okay, after you define the store, one more thing you have to do. That means your data is ready. So next what you have to do is, so enable application state configuration on application start. Application state configuration. Enable application state configuration on application start. Application start means application starts from main.jsx. Na? In main.jsx, what you have to do is, here generally store is a service. It uses a provider. What is role of provider in service? In hooks I explained. Provider responsible for locating the data in memory and injecting into our component. So provider locates data in memory and injects into component. Components in provider scope. Provider scope. Components in provider scope can access. Components in provider scope can access the data. Provider will check whether the component is in its scope. If it is in its scope, then it can give the data. So what we need to do is we need to configure like this. We have a provider, store is equal to store. In this provider, your app should work. That means your which component, to do na, to do index. It should be inside the provider scope. Already we are using a cookie provider na. Same. We have to use a store provider also. We have to use a store provider. Right. So this is one application here. Okay. Now it is ready. How to use it any location? Means you configured the complete Redux. Now how to use in any component? We have to just use the store. So how to access the store? One more important. You can, this is updating data into store from component UI. How you can update is React Redux provides use dispatch method. React Redux provides use dispatch method. So what we have to do? So import actions from a reducer, which is in slicer, and dispatch. Import actions from reducer and dispatch the payload into store. Syntactically, we have to use dispatch is equal to use dispatch. So dispatch will have an action. Into the action, we need to send the data. This we do on any event. On any event in component, we have to dispatch the data. So we need to dispatch the data and it is stored in that. Right. So let's see how we can do this. How we can implement this. Still one more concept is there, how to present the data. First we'll see up to this. So let's go to our project. From the first step, check once what we have to do. So what is our target here is whenever user clicks on archive, it should stored in application memory. Only that I will implement. Rest you have to do because deleting already I showed you, but you should not delete. What you should do, hide it and store inside another array that we will do, right? We will create it. So what is the first thing is first install Redux toolkit. So we need to install Redux toolkit, npm install Redux.js toolkit and React Redux. We have to install that. Okay, done. Tell me the next point what to do. First, we have to create a slicer. Na? Go to src folder and put a folder called slicers. It is good always to maintain a separate folder slicers. Okay, in that we have to write, suppose I am giving task slicer dot what JSX. That is a task slicer. You can have multiple slicers for different reasons, right? I am using a task slicer. How to create a slicer? Export. So here, what we have to do, constant task slicer is equal to what is the method? Create slice. Create slice is imported from toolkit, from Redux.js toolkit. Create slice. So here, before that, we should tell what data to handle. Initial state is equal to object. It contains one is archived tasks. It is an array. It contains the list of all deleted tasks, temporarily deleted tasks, and archived. So yeah, archived count means how many are present. I want to show how many are archived. Count also I want to display. So means just like a status. How many are in your inbox? How many are in trash? Just spam, just a number I want to show. So what is the data we want to maintain in application memory? The deleted tasks, temporarily deleted tasks, and how many tasks deleted, their number. Okay, what slicer contains? Create slice. What is the first slicer name now? Name. What is the slicer name? Task slicer. That's your wish. You can give any name. Next, initial state. Initial state indicates what data it should handle. Reducer, reducers indicate what actions it should handle. What actions it should handle? One action name is uh, add to, add to archive. That is one action. What this action have to do? It should get the state and it should have an action. Now what it should do is it should get the state. State contains initial state na. That means state dot archived tasks. Into that we have to push. What is it? We need to add. Adding anything into array is done with push or unshift. We will push. Which one to push? The data comes from UI. How to collect the data comes from UI. Action dot payload. Action dot payload is nothing but it will get the data from your trigger event. You click add click will automatically fire up. It will collect that task and it will push the task into archived tasks. Another point, count, how we will update. State dot archived count. How to update? State dot archived tasks dot length is enough na. That means it will get how many items are inside the memory. So we are storing two details. One is the task that he temporarily deleted. Another one is how many are there, number count. That's it. Now what we have to do, export constant one task I want to update is what? Add to archive. It is exported from task slicer dot what is it? Actions. Another one we have to export default. What is that? Task slicer dot what? Reducers. Reducer also we need to export. Actions also we need to export. If we don't export, we cannot access from another file. So you have to make sure that you exported this reducer and you exported this action so that you can use from any file. Otherwise you cannot use, right? Default. Why? Because I am declaring somewhere, exporting somewhere else. Then we use default. You already learned in JavaScript, there can be only one default export. Okay. If you are directly exporting while configuring, then you don't need to default. Okay. Okay. Slicer is ready now. Okay. Next, what to do? We have to create a store now. Okay. Let's add another folder into SRC. What is the folder name? Store. In the store folder, we will add what is it? Store dot what? JSX. So here export. So export default. What is it? Create store. Create store is the new one. Acha. This tool version has removed again. They are saying that create store is deprecated. In their official website, what they say? Yesterday only we saw, na? They changed again. So Saturday we saw they are recommending which one? Create store. Now they are changing. Eh? Okay, let's use this method. What is that method? Configure store. That means again there you need to, so better what you do means there's this is still latest version is still an beta version, means not a final version. So they will be keep on updating until the final version is released. And when you install, the latest beta will come. That's the reason, no problem. We will use which one? Configure store. Configure store. Okay, but you check before using a configure store. Saturday only we saw this, huh? So what we have to do, this store contains, sorry, this contains inside, we need to configure. It contains options. What is that option? The option is reducer. Which reducer it has to use? Task slicer. We have to import that. Reducer comes from the task slicer. We have to import. What is it? Task slicer. This task slicer is not imported. Why it is there? From slicers slash task slicer. Okay, fine. It is not properly exported. Acha, it is default now. Default means how we have to do. Directly we have to import. What is it? Task slicer. So we have to import directly. Okay, task slicer. Okay, fine. What is this? Task slicer is imported from the slicers and it is used in the configure. That's fine. What this task slicer contains? Two options. One is archived tasks, another one is archived count. Okay, store is ready. One more thing we have to do. Go to main.jsx. Here we need to configure a provider. Na? So here we have to import. We have to import a provider. Provider from React Redux. So it will come from React Redux here. And this provider uses a store. Store will come from the store that we created. It will automatically import the store. We can access. That means all the application data is now accessible to index component. Understood? That means in this routing area, whatever component is working, that component can use your store. Okay, let's do this. Now we will go into this. The store is ready. The store is configured and it is ready. Now what should happen on this button click? That particular appointment must be saved inside the archives. Na? Okay, so let's go to the details page. In the details page, we need to write button click. So we have a function. What is that function? Is add to archive click. Okay. On this add to archive click, I need to send this particular appointment details. Current appointment related details we need to send. How to send custom parameters? Already we know. How to send custom parameters? We have to use what? On click. Here we need to access the function called handle add to archive click. Into that we will pass appointment. Understood? That means current appointment is sent. Which appointment button you clicked, that appointment will be sent. That appointment we have to collect. Na? Yes, we have to collect that appointment. After collecting, we need to dispatch to the store. How to dispatch to the store? We need to create let what? Dispatch is equal to what? Use dispatch. Use dispatch from React Redux. It will import and we have to dispatch. We will put a simple dispatch. And what is the action name? Add to archive. Add to archive. That is the function into the payload. Payload is nothing but appointment. That means in your reducer, this is the action. Into that action, we need to send the data. Now what it will do, it is going to store and we will put an alert saying that task added to archives. Am I right? Task added to archives. Let's check this now. Entire basic functionality here. So we will go here, right click and remember I told you already. So you have to install one plugin. What is the plugin? Redux Dev Tools. So you have to install one plugin. I'll give a note here to track and debug Redux. To track and debug Redux, install the extension for your browser. Install the extension for your browser. And what is that extension is? So the extension is Redux Dev Tools. Install the extension for your browser, Redux Dev Tools. So you just Google Chrome Redux Dev Tools, Edge Redux Dev Tools, it will give you. You have to just install it. That means you see, I will go here, Redux Dev Tools. You just Google, you will get Redux Dev Tools. You open it and you will have an option. So here get. Already I have installed it for my Edge. This is for Chrome. You just Google for which browser you want, it will give you. When you say get, it will add into your Chrome. So what you have to do now, once you got this, while if you are using a store in your memory, means in your app, now go to extension and select React DevTools. In this, you see state is ready. And you see in the state, what is it is showing? It is having two details. One is archived tasks, another one archived count. And observe carefully, currently you are in chart area. As a developer, if you go to inspector, in the inspector, it will show. So currently states are equal. States are equal means there are no changes. You see action. When I go to action, as of now, there is no action. Go to state. You see in state, two tasks are there in memory. Means two details are in the memory. They are waiting for your data. Is there any difference? There is no difference. Currently it is normal. There is no tracking. There is no testing. Testing also not ready. Why? Because you haven't clicked anything. Na? What trace will do? It will identify what you clicked. It will identify what data is coming. Everything now. You go now. You go to, you see, there is a log monitor. It will show you the details. There is a chart which will show you graphs and they have query. It will show you the query actions, what actions performed. As of now, currently, just go to inspector and keep it ready. And action, there is no action. Now you can close this and you click here. This add to archive for birthday. When I click here, it says task added to archives. Okay, it is added. We have to check. What we haven't written the logic. What logic we have to do? We have to hide it from here now. We have to remove and hide it from here. And already it is stored in a separate location. You can check where to check. So when I click archives, it can open a pop-up and it can display. For that, we need to write the design. We have to create the design, but they are in the memory. You can go to extensions, React DevTools. In DevTools, you can see the payload is the data coming birthday. And you can see what is this showing? It is showing the task slicer add to archive button is clicked. And you go to state. Suppose you go to chart. in the chart, it will show the task is 0. One task is in memory. What data is stored in the memory? So what it contains, everything is displayed for developer here. Not only that, this count is how much one. Yeah, you go to inspector, you go to action. Current action is add to archive state. State, you can see which data is stored in memory, it will show. What is the data stored in the memory? It will show difference also. What is difference? Earlier it was 0 count, now it is 1. It will show the changes. It will even track. Actually, color is not good here. I have to change my color theme later. I will do. Actually, in settings, you can go to and you can change a color theme. Default color themes will be there. So those color themes will allow you to understand. Actually, this is also not good. Right. Okay. I have to change all the color theme, then it will be visible. Okay. But just I will show you here. Actually, in DevTools, you see there is an option dispatch is clicked. Understood? That means you have an option. So dispatch, add to archive appointment, that is clicked. It is showing that. So you can see now which function is clicked, what happened, it will show. What clicked, what action performed, it is going to display that detail. And which button is clicked, on click, in which page it is clicked, to do details clicked. That means this is not generally for user. This is for developer. Developer can exactly track what is happening inside the application. They can easily track what is happening. Suppose you see the state currently it is 1. Okay, let's click second one also. This one added to archives. Now you can see where it is displayed in the extension. Go to DevTools. You see now two tasks in the archives. Now what is our job is we have to bring those archives details and display. For example, how to know how many archives are present? Here I want to show the count. Generally, how do you display the count? Where is it? It is in dashboard, na? Yeah, in the dashboard, suppose here we are having a span class badge. So, and BG warning. So rounded and rounded circle. And here we will put position absolute. And the parent will be position relative. Then actually here, so in that temporarily, yeah, suppose it is having 1 or 2, then it will display like this. Archives 1, right? So I will put BG danger, right? Okay, actually it should display how many are in the archives. How to get that is, it is in store, na? We have to get the store. We have to import the store. Store is imported from the store. And this store contains, you see this store contains, you see it has get state. Get state is a method and get state is a method. So it contains two options, archived count, another one, archived tasks. We will get archived count. How many are there? That means it will get the count and show. Understood? How many are archived? It will show. Now, what is your responsibility when I click this button? A pop-up should come. In the pop-up, it should show them na, how to display them in a pop-up. You can use models. Bootstrap models are present, right? So here, one more important is if you want to show them in pop-up, generally we have a div class. What is it? Model. Fade. You know, model is a bootstrap one. You can use that, or you can use MUI models if you have tried them. It needs an ID. So ID is archives. Okay. And on this button, data BS target, target is equal to hash archives, archives, and data BS toggle. Toggle is what? Model. And this will have a so class model dialog, and it will have a div class model content, and it will have a div class have model header. In this header, we will put a simple heading archived tasks. Am I right? And here we need a button to close a class btn and btn close, and data bs dismiss is equal to, it should dismiss what? Model. And below this, we want to display all the tasks. This is what? Model body. In the body, we want to show the archived tasks. So what is the best one is create a table, right? So you create a table here. Just roughly I am giving table and a table hover. Okay. And here we have T head. So TR, TH. So we have two one. One is title, another one is date. We want to get the details and display na. Where to display? T body. Here we have to display archived tasks na. How to get the archived task? Store dot what? Get state in that what? Archived tasks. It is an array na. You can map, you can read every task, and for every task you can create a row. It will have a key. Key will have a task dot ID na. Task have an ID. It is going to get the ID. And here we need to display two cells there. TD first cell should contain task dot what? Title. Second task, second one should contain task dot what? Date. So be careful with the data you are dealing with. You should exactly mention the ID, title, date. Am I right? Okay, now we are doing this. Now what happens here when I click archived task? It should show pop-up and display. Any problem? So we have Bootstrap included. Where is main.jsx? In that Bootstrap bundle is also there, na? Yes, Bootstrap bundle is there. Then, so I have add to task. Acha, we haven't updated, na? Updated means this, where is it? So pop-up is not displayed. Why pop-up is not displayed? Let's check. So this is on button click. And here use effect should update on store also, na? It should update on store. Any changes happened on store also it should update. So it is updated, not which one? Archives some mistake. So there is no problem at all. Some mistake in idea. Where is model archives? Here spelling wrong. Hash archives. Okay. Okay, fine. Now actually we need to add them. So let's sign out, reload, and let's check in the dev tools empty na. We will load David NIT at the net 123 login. Click on archives. Okay. This is not updated. Let's check. One detail is there, fine. But when I click on this, it should get that. We need to show the details there. So why it is not updated? On button click, it is where is use effect in dashboard we given a, but actually you have to give in the details also na. Details use effect, it should affect on such string. One more thing we have to do, layout effect not required. What else? Another dependency is what? Store. We have to import that store dot get state. On count we will do archived tasks, or just store is enough. Actually it should update into that. This is updated. It's not showing, but in the Redux dev tools it is having one. Okay, now it is having two. In the dev tools it is having both. Two are there. Here it is update, need to be updated because acha this is parent and child na. So now what is another problem here is, here we need to send data from child to parent. We are not sending that. So if it is all in one component, that is fine. Okay. From child to parent, how to send the data? There we have to receive the data and use the data. How you have to send that? So we need to send by using custom events na. Right. So we need to update using custom events. One custom event we can do and we can handle that. So here we have to write the custom event. What is it? Add to archive clicks. What should happen? We need to update. Actually, temporarily what I will do, this dashboard. So whenever this store is there, fine. We have to write custom event only because I created a parent child. So what you do when user clicks on this button, you have to use the custom event and update there. And when I click, it will get that information and display. Currently it is working. Why? Because I just reloaded. When we reload, the latest will come. But what you have to do, you have to update by using what? Custom events. Custom events we have to do. Currently I reloaded, then it will display, but it should not. When I click on it, immediately it should update there. Through custom event, you can pass that and you can update there. Okay. And when I click, it should get those details and display. From here, if you want to delete, what you have to do, you have to use this delete logic there. Understood? So we have to put this delete logic in that table. On that button, click axios dot which method you will use? Delete. What is difference between archive and delete? It is temporary. It is not permanent. When I click delete, it is permanently. So you try that. Anyhow, I will implement this and I will post update to you also. But you need to try this. So here, one more concept, how to get the store and use it. One more point you should note here. You can access and use store from any component by using store reference. So what you have to do, so you have to import store from store.jsx. So what it is, store dot what get state and your data. Whatever data is in the store, you can access. We can access and display that. So these are all important related to Redux. So I will update this entire code into the GitHub. The project will be updated because we made changes in files now. Whatever there, they will be updated there. You try that. Now, once you know this, that means now what we have done, we used a global application state by using what? Redux. Redux. Now we have one more important. Now some more hooks are there, which are new and which require some interactions. Those hooks that we will see in next session tomorrow. Then we will finish all the concept of hooks. Now in tomorrow session itself, we are going to start the concept of TypeScript now. So what we are going to do, we are going to learn React with TypeScript. And I will show one more end-to-end project. This project, second one, I will just guide you how to do. Right? And this time end-to-end project using React and TypeScript as language. But for that, first you should have knowledge of TypeScript. What is difference between JavaScript, TypeScript, a basic overview of TypeScript first I will give. Then we will implement React project with TypeScript. Tomorrow we'll start that. Okay, right.